Dr. Rita Mahajan. It's a pleasure to have you on this platform, the Life Positive Show. And it's with great honor and happiness that we welcome you to this show.
Thank you.
Dr. Rita Mahajan is a PhD in her profile is so big that it is not actually possible for me to rattle it off at one go. So I will kind of, with the permission of everybody over here, I will kind of just describe her profile. She's a PhD in quantum energy medicine from International University of Complementary and Alternative Medicine. She is the director of WOQEM, World of Quantum Energy Medicine. She is dynamic and explores new subjects with great passion. She organized the first World Parliament on Spirituality in 2021, and she has been organizing the WOQEM for conferences in 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. She speaks at various national and international forums and is a pioneer of many modalities of energy medicines. So she will also be holding a workshop with Life Positive on the 4th and 5th of September in the program From the Lockdown to Breakthrough Weekend. We would like all of us over here to ask Dr. Rita, what is energy medicine? You're talking about the quantum energy medicine. We would like to know what this whole paradigm is, what this whole field is.
Okay, very good. First of all, thank you very much, Shiviji. And a big thanks to Life Positive is bringing out this initiative to bring to people the newer subject and newer approach, especially so very important during this pandemic, so that we bring into this platform what is possible for us, for a commoners, for everybody to kind of, rise up at this moment of a lot of challenges. So therefore, I will be like to present to you the domain that I am pretty good at, the quantum energy medicine. Now you asked me a very appropriate question, that what is quantum energy medicine? So in the most simplest way, be it a housewife or a illiterate or anybody, for them to understand, the simplest way is that we are bringing forth the quantum understanding of all those quantum physics to understand our physical body. Okay. Now, for example, if there is any issues that you may have in our physical body, the first preference is that we go to the medical doctor, which is conventional, and then they will get to see your physics completely. They have a super expertise into diagnosing what is there through their biochemistry or through visual examination or through other high-end technology like MRI or the scan or whatsoever. They're able to completely give to us an understanding of the physicality. They also understand the biochemistry composition of this physical body. As well, they understand biology. Okay, but we are a little bit different. What we are different about is to understanding this physical body with its biochemistry composition and biology. It's very complex. It does not, adhere to only this form. We are beyond the form. So to understand that, we have taken the clue from the spiritual science to understand what is that we are made up of. As you and me are here, and the people who are watching us also, we are made up of many cells. Okay, we become this. Can we change our form? We cannot change our form. Okay, so therefore, to understand this, how did we become this particular way of our form, the manifested body? So we have to get back deeper into the subject of understanding our body is given by this gift given by our parents of these two cells, each one of them, the chromosomes. Okay, these two chromosomes from our parents, the father and the mother, combine together and form into that one single cell. Okay, and there is huge technology how it happens, but fundamentally, let's understand the simpler level. This one cell, which is kind of come together, amalgamate, and forms that one cell has got all the intelligence of what that cell has to make you to be. Okay, it has got the acquired information from the grandparents, their complete lineage, and father's side and mother's side, both put together, as well your evolutionary processes. Okay, your womb. So all that information in that single cell. Now think of it, that single cell, by dividing itself multiple times, forms itself into tissues and organs, and then make your body 9 months it takes in the womb of the mother. As well, it is also acquires the information in the environment that it is. So from there, it will start forming. So when it is delivered out of your mother's womb, then it has got its default program how it will grow up. No matter how much you try, you cannot change the physicality of your body, okay, the way you look. And it's got all inherent qualities of it. Now, if you really go back and think, how did we become this body itself is explained in the most simplest way that I could, in a most common logical way, that this body is made up of millions and trillions of cellular structure, but each of the cluster of cells make like the brain softer, bone stronger, blood liquid. It has got its intelligence because it's inherent quality of the cell to know what it is to form. Okay. And then if we really examine any of those cells, any of it, under a powerful microscope and understand, again, you'll get to see the physicality of it, like the membrane, the chromosomes, the nucleus, mitochondria, and everything. That's again the physical part of it. But deeper down, if we go and see what is the cell made up of, it is millions and millions of molecular structure. So till that molecular level, everybody are able to explain or deal with that, okay? But we have gone further, deeper to understand what is the molecule made up of. Fundamentally, we'll say that we are 70% water molecule, okay, as a body, okay? But then we go deeper and study that molecule, and when we see it, it is made up of atoms. And everyone knows what is atom made up of. It's electrons, protons, and the neutron. The rest we set space or energy and leave it. But in the recent years, there's a lot of interest in understanding that space, what it is about, because fundamentally it is the electron which makes your form. And the proton and the neutron is actually a support system, though it has got its own functionality. But the rest of the space is where the information comes from. Okay. So therefore, if you go and study this, what is the ratio between the electron, proton, neutron? The electron and proton, neutron makes us this physical reality, like the mass, the denser form of our body. And what's the ratio between the space and the electron, proton, neutron? You'll understand the electron, proton, neutron, that's our physical body, is 0.000000001%.
You mean to say this is the space between two electrons?
No, the electron, proton, neutron itself, and then if you see the space, okay, within which the electron, proton, neutrons are functional, that space is 99.99999.
Oh my God, that's a lot of space.
Exactly. So now look at your body.
But, yes,
negligibly, we are who we are in this form is only 0.00001%.
Correct. That's true. We don't even see that space anywhere within the body. Except for the spaces through which the air goes and food goes and sound goes.
Yeah. But the question is, this is a quantum understanding of a physicality. We are talking about the body because we're dealing with the health issues of the human being. We can do the same thing for anything you want, which appears to be solid fundamentally, but it is not solid in its composition.
Okay, so Dr. Rita, you very well explained the composition of the body in terms of the electrons, neutrons, protons, and the space that separates these energies. Please tell me, what is it that you were able to derive when you went this deep into the study of the human body, and how do you feel that this knowledge can help human beings become healthier and happier and better?
The first thing is that, as I mentioned, and kind of carrying it forward, our physical body is actually very negligently 0.0001% a denser form of energy. Okay. Now, we as quantum physicists or quantum scientists, quantum energy medicine practitioners, we are much more interested in the space that comprises inside our cellular level and atomic structure of our body. And then when we are studying it, and we can bring in a perfect resonance and a harmony in that. So the body has got its own intelligence. If you bring in the quantum understanding of it, that we are energy, and that energy itself is our medicine. Okay. That is why we call it quantum energy medicine. It's a quantum approach to our entire physicality and its ailment connected in all its composition of emotional body or mental body or a physical body or a spiritual body, and bring in that kind of an understanding to deal with the physical ailment, which is otherwise impossible with other existing systems.
Oh, okay, Dr. Rita, can you tell me what are the means through which you bring about these desired changes in the human body by employing energy to change their structure or whatever the ailment is there in their body? So what is it that you do at your center which brings about this kind of healing of anybody who's down with any difficult ailment?
Yeah.
What can people expect if they approach you? So how will you go about treating their illness?
Yeah, first thing is that when people approach us, for many reasons people approach us. First of all, people approach us for rejuvenation and regeneration, and for that fundamentally. And secondly, they approach us when they haven't found any solutions for their issues, health issues anywhere else in the world. So therefore, when they come to us, that we will first do a diagnosis ourselves. We insist, if they come for any kind of a chronic cases, we insist that they bring in the medical report, because that's the best in the world. They know exactly what it is and how it is, what is the chemical composition, biochemistry, and what is their approach, everything. Then we also do take one report from our side, which is a quantum resonance report. In 1 minute, we can take out almost about 150 parameters of your body, from the amino acids to the toxins level to the supply of blood to the brain or not, or heart functioning and everything. Then we will diagnose them by saying that this is a solution for you. If you do this, you will be fine. And we use many modalities.
Okay, so you mean to say this method is not applied by doctors in the conventional medicine? So what is the difference between your approach and their approach? Because there are also things like whole body scan and all kind of things are there, CT scan and MRI scan, where try to go very deep inside the physical body to locate the problem. So how is your method different from theirs?
Shivi, it's a very appropriate question, in fact, because this is a doubt in everybody's mind. When they're giving you such deeper result like the MRI or the scan or the biochemical report, deeper and deeper. But ultimately, they are studying the matter, the physics of our body and the biochemistry of our body. What we are studying is, where does this, we study the quantum energy of your body. Okay? We do not study the physics, because the physics of this denser form of a physics is ultimately is emerging out of that 99.9999% space of your body. So we studied that.
So what do you eventually find in that space? What is the lying in that particular space which is actually making a person ill?
Yeah, the illness is another question. First of all, let me answer you. What do you find in that? What do you find in that reading? What we find in that reading is the discrepancies. Okay, we don't call them, disease, but we call them discrepancies. The blocked energy, stagnated energies, which is causing a physical issues, okay, or toxins, okay, some kind of a toxins will be there, some kind of a metal, toxins would be there, or we look at those and then we will release them in a most non-invasive method. That is the first question that I've answered. Second is, what is that in the space gives us to understand, or how does it interrupt our body? Because when the energy has to be all the time in flowing, you and me are now sitting here, and there is n number of cells in our body in the atomic structure level. It's all the time in movement. It is illusionary that we're sitting, stagnant, because the nature's law is everything has to be in movement. Where there is a stagnation, where there is a disruption, there is a disease. Okay, so when we look at it, and with our technology and our understanding, we bring in we establish another kind of complete flow in that energy, so that the body has got its own intelligence to repair itself. We do not do any medicine.
Okay, so Dr. Mahajan, in this new age world, a lot of new healers and healing modalities are coming, and as well as many other discoveries are also happening regarding the physical and the mental state of human beings. And what is being being discussed these days is it's mostly the blocked energy is the blocked emotion which you're carrying in your mind, which is eventually manifesting as disease. So now emotion is something I don't know whether it can be seen through any of your methods. So how is it that you perceive that this is a blocked energy and this is the healed energy? Because now mostly people are talking of unresolved emotions which are causing. So I feel this is the same. It is not different. That emotion may also have their own frequency, their own kind of vibration, which is lost somewhere in your cell and it is not getting eliminated. But we understand it at a say cerebral level, at a mental level, that this is that we have a problem. But you, as a doctor of quantum energy medicine, when you delve into this subject, so how do you perceive that blocked energy or that blocked emotion when you analyze the atomic, the composition of a human cell?
Okay. See, first is that you said it very rightly. The emotions that we all emote, okay, in our life, we think it is like does not matter to anybody. Okay, it's personal, but it is not. It is not. Emotion is also an energy. As much as laughter is an energy, happiness is an energy. Everything is an energy. Okay. Now I'm looking at you through this new technology, and I'm transmitting my energy to you, and your energy to me. The computer and the net is our kind of a connect. So there are many modalities, as I said, we will do. If it is an emotional block, one is that first I use my clairvoyancy, and I will look at a person and I will know. And in case if the person is willing to go through a session, then I do an aura and chakra reading. When we do an aura and chakra scan, we can distinctly point out from the time of conception in the womb of a mother, and then their life story, when all they have gone through, whatever they've gone through, and that is blocked there, and that is not being able to release consciously or unconsciously. It's there, and that is coming in the way of their smooth life or producing that results. So we can pinpoint, and who has to give us a validation is a person whom I'm reading to.
Okay. So you mean to say, Dr. Rita, that your technique is simply a shortcut to, you end up bypassing all the emotional and the mental labor which a person has to do when he tries to resolve his emotions while trying to heal himself. So the patient does not have to do or invest any personal effort in healing himself. All he has to do is kind of, offer himself or herself to your treatment, and simply through energy medicine, you can remove those emotional blockages without he having to kind of do it himself. So is it true?
Yeah, that question I'll rephrase it. In fact, if a person approaches us, that means there is an interest in that person to move forward in life. Okay, that person, whoever he or she is finding out this is stopping me in my life, but they're grappling over the things they do not know what is stopping them in their life. Okay, so at that time, that when we are diagnosing them that this may be the one which is stopping you, it is natural that person will release it. Okay. It doesn't need any rocket science, for that matter. If you don't mind, I can give a few examples of some of the cases which we have gone through. I've done more than 5,500 plus readings, aura, and in many clientele. I've seen that they're grappling with the thing like, why am I not being a mother? Okay, what in spite of IVFs and all that, why am I not being a mother? Or why my relationship is going for a 6 hours? I'm doing everything possible. Or it is like, why did I get a cancer? That to blood cancer. What may be the reason? And then, as you know, if you have a cancer kind of a disease, there is a certain protocol in the conventional method they have to go through. In spite of going through, and then you're still not able to resolve, that is when you begin to rethink in life. Okay. So when they come to us, and then we will do an aura if it is supposed to be done. If it's not for everybody random, we do somebody who approaches and we feel it's important. I have to pinpoint where is that block is. Then you go through that aura. Okay. I can give you one example of a 34-year-old, 34-year-old person, and he had a blood cancer. Okay. And after several chemo, and he had come to me, and because he Googled, because they get fed up. Nowadays, this young generation, the Google is the biggest guru. And if they're fed up and they go Googling it, and where do I find my solution for my cancer? And then somehow I popped up, and then they took an appointment and he came to me. And then I did an aura for him. I found out the source of his issue was, mind you, he's not an ordinary man. He's a big time IT CEO. Okay. And last 7 months that he discovered this, that there is a issue for him in the blood cancer, he couldn't bear it. Okay. He broke down, emotionally broke down, and he went through all the processes, whatever as an IT guy should do in the medical realm, they believe, and they went and all that, yet no result. Painful, toxins all accumulated in his toes and nails, and no energy. Then when we did it, we found out it's a very interesting story. Names are not taken here. It's just like a story. And we found out that this mother of his never accepted him.
Oh.
Okay. First thing is that she was a very, very dynamic young girl, comes from the school home, and it's a very traditional family in Karnataka. And she comes running with a shield in her hand for having won sports, in the sports meet of the school. She comes rushing and she sees suddenly there are strangers and guests are there. And father says strictly, go and get ready and come, mom will help you. She's dressed up like the young bride, and she comes in, and then that girl gets married to this professor who's, a little bit older than her. She's a young girl of 16 years or something. And then she never accepts that relationship in her life. Luckily or unluckily, she has got one aunt who lives in the same family, and the aunt is the one who takes care of this boy. Okay. She's disinterested in the child because she never wanted to, first of all, marry. Secondly, she never wanted to, have a baby. And the baby was born, and the day the baby was born was handed over to this aunt, though they lived in the same home, but disconnected totally from the mother. Mother. So he always felt, she's not my mother, and the aunt is my mother because she has given all love and care. He never found love from the mother. Father was too busy because he was a professor or a lecturer, too busy. He never found that love. Then everybody were quiet. Nobody was thinking of his marriage. So he got married by himself, invited. She comes like a stranger and she goes away, not even gives the blessing. That is when, before 4 years of his detecting cancer, he was totally broken. At least now, you could have blessed me for my new life, and what did this happen? But that happened one moment and over. When after 6 months or 1 year, it was detected with a blood cancer. Now think of it, a person of that order with a blood cancer means he is ready to exit because he's so fed up, not able to accept the dejection and the rejection.
So does it mean he got that cancer of the blood? It means his issue on his resentment was with his blood type. With blood type, because mother is the first blood which will run in the veins of the child, and that is why he manifested the cancer of the blood and nowhere else.
We wouldn't know how all our thoughts can manifest. Okay, every thought gets manifested. Every thought. Okay, and if this is a serious thought of this, kind of feeling and of rejection, and so dense and so real for him, and then it manifested, and then I have to really coach him And when we found out, this is the only thing that you have to, you have to make it up with your mother, whether your mother accepts or not, but it is your root. You got to be, at least forgive her for what she did. Think of her as from the young girl's point of view. And, she had an entirely different story about her life. She wanted big vision to be a sportswoman. And here she gets married to an older man, how her life would have been and all that story. Trust me, after 6 months or so, definitely, he was improving, and I hope he started traveling and he's doing good. And once in a while, he gets a PET scan done, and And what I'm trying to make a point here is emotional blocks are taken very lightly, are a cause of most of our disruption. It disrupts us in life, disrupts us in every way possible. Okay, so if we can deal with that, you can do a lot. That's one of the skills.
Oh, okay, Dr. Mahajan, while going through your website, I came across not one but several healing modalities which you practice at your center, and some of them are like very, very sophisticated, and a few I've not even heard ever heard their names also. Now there is say, I just noted them down. I will just kind of just read them out so that you can give us a little glimpse of what all happens, what it all entails when somebody goes to you for healing. Now there is something called this cosmetic regeneration, photobiomodulation therapy, SE5 radionics, and heart rate variables, and hydrotherapy spa. So they are all very quite new for me, as well as others who are listening to this show. So can you tell me what happens in these?
Now let me tell you this, because see, the quantumness, the quantum energy field that we all emerge from. Okay, I'll begin from there, then I'll come to the modalities that we use, and each one is a technology. Okay, for us to understand the technology in the most commonest language, I will make it very simple. Everything in the space, in the universe, in our world, in and around us is all energy. Okay, our physical body is a denser form of the energy. There are many, many modalities, like an Ayurvedic person can just look at your pulse and he will diagnose it so precisely, as much as the medical fraternity will take your blood and give you a complete history, as much as the face reader can also pinpoint and tell you. There are many, many modalities. But what we must understand is everything there in the universe is frequencies, and frequencies are nothing but energy, information. So if we can divide quantum energy medicine into three, verticals. One is quantum energy as a whole, everything included. One is a frequency therapies, frequency modalities, and then there is an information technology. Okay, in the information is all there is. Like, for example, if you take a tulsi, for example, a leaf, tulsi can never become bilva.
Bilva, okay.
Yeah? If you take apple can never become orange, no matter what you do. Okay, similarly, human beings are human beings. We have got information within us. So there is a huge surge of technologies in the world last 60, 70 years. And in that, the cosmetic is one of it. Cosmetic is a frequency scalar energy technology, and it works through your spine, the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. Therefore, this information are transmitted through this nervous system, and then there is a kind of an alignment happens, okay, in the body. It is called cosmetic because it is a gadget developed by Russians, and it is used in NASA, because when they go up, into the flight, through the rockets, in the satellite, they do not have medication as such. They use this. That's why it's called cosmetic. It's another high-end technology of a scalar energy, and it can be used for realigning your body, bringing the perfect shape for your body. You can also use it for pain management. You can use it perfectly well for a pain management. And blood flow, if there is an interruption of the blood flow, you can use it for blood flow. It's a small gadget. It's very, very handy. Okay, it's a little expensive, but it's very handy. We have used for all cases possible. In cosmetic, I can take out a very very recently one case in a person who came to me for eyelid, gland swelling. Okay, below the eyelid, there was a gland swelling, but his biochemistry report, the ESR was high. Whenever there's a ESR high, the next thing they will understand is that could be a suspicion of some cancerous cell or something. Okay, he came to me and then I did his work. Then while I was working with him physically, I've seen a part of his skull is a little dented and he was asymmetrical. He's not symmetrical like the way you and me are, asymmetrical. Then I began to work with him on the skull itself. I used the cosmetic, and I could see that the way he's 42-year-old, okay? We think a body and skull is solid. It's not so. It started bringing that perfect shape to the extent he used to tell me. His son is the only one who noticed that his face was asymmetrical. So he'll say, Papa, aapka face teda moda hai, So, but then he realized, and later on he just came to a perfect shape. Okay, that's one of the things. Or, many cases I can give you an example of accident happened and this finger is like bent. You cannot kind of move it, and we began to work. It started straightening up, because the matter of the body resonates to the information and frequency that we apply. That is about cosmetic. Okay. You asked me a question of photobiomodulation. Okay. In the spectrum of the light frequencies, lights are frequencies and information. Okay. Like the way we use X-ray. X-ray is really high end. We cannot see them, but they can detect and bring us if you develop those films, you can get a complete picture of what is happening inside. Similarly, after X-ray is a far infrared and near infrared rays. Okay. So photobiomodulation uses near infrared rays, which is red in color and some are blue in color. And by using those frequencies, we are able to, photon is light, we are able to modulate the biology.
Okay.
That's it. So when we modulate the biology, what happens? The mitochondria is the one which gets like that, triggered, because the mitochondria is very important right now, and more understandings are coming up in our field, because the mitochondria is the energy body, energy bank of our cell. Okay. And if it doesn't have a currency, it wouldn't be able to do all its work of transporting your amino acids, your nutrients to its right places. Okay. So in a way, this mitochondria, which is the energy bank, that gets triggered. When that gets triggered, when the bank is filled with the energy of this photon, then it does its work naturally well. Okay. So we work a lot on.
This is like next level medicine. Next level medicine. And I think, Dr. Mahajan, the world is still not receptive to this kind of healing, because people are still very close-minded, and there's very less acceptance, or rather the very less knowledge about the energy part of the human body. So we still kind of attach all the symptoms with the physical body and all the ailments with the physical body. So do you think, it will take longer for people to come to this level of understanding with regard to their body and the ways to heal it? Or do you think that it's already happening and already gathering a lot of pace?
Okay.
What is your understanding ever since, you've been in this field for a pretty long time, and you've gone to so many conferences and met so many patients and doctors, and you must have also faced a lot of hostility with regard to this new level of. So what has been your experience vis-a-vis the understanding of people? Are they willing to open up, or kind of they're still okay?
First thing is that it is not caught up so very popularly, because it is still primitive in its state, that what the other people say about. But as and when I've been in this field for some time, I've seen the most receptive people are the medical doctors. My experience has been most receptive people are the medical doctors, because they're very amazed with what they couldn't do, that we are able to do. And there are many people in my team who want to learn who also is a part of our advisory council. Okay. So it is about how you approach, okay, how we approach them, and you have to show them, it is not like mumbo jumbo. When they know it is research based, of course there are very few people who are using this technology in the world right now, but there will be many to come. Okay, so many to come. That in my experience, I've never been, sorry, touch wood, I've never been rejected. One thing, because they've seen cases and they are looking at how did this happen. Second, they've also met with the clients, some of them, so they understood. And what is impossible, otherwise they began to send clients also to me. So I come from a medical field. Okay, I've been a surgical instrument manufacturer since the age of 22. So 34 plus years of surgical. So I've been all the time interacting with medical doctors. So therefore, apart from my diploma in medical lab technology, which I did long before, I've acquired this medical knowledge quite, because if you have to make cardiovascular instruments, you need to know how your arteries should be, and or ophthalmic instruments. So therefore, they have received me well, I can say. Okay, they've received me well, and now we will be putting up some courses for people to learn.
Great. Dr. Mahajan says you are all about quantum energy and energy medicine, energy healing. And eventually, if we really go very deep down, so every suffering or emotional problem or whatever which we are encountering in our lives eventually boils down to kind of not feeling loved. It is considered that love is the highest frequency, and it is also the frequency at which the divine exists. And basically, our problem eventually is because of a separation with the divine self.
Yeah.
And you are bringing into harmony the cells, the disturbed cells of the people because of feeling unloved. Do you also see that after they've healed physically, spiritually also they have kind of risen in their lives? They are more in touch with their spiritual self. They are more open to this aspect of human existence, of not only being physical selves but also being spiritual selves, which with a greater higher purpose in life.
Okay.
So have you ever?
Yeah. First thing is that Shivi, that the separatedness between one another is actually a concept that we all live with, which is not real. Okay, because when we begin to realize after arriving on Earth, when we begin to realize this is me, this is my name and this is my only family, we begin to separate ourselves out of the others. Okay, but actually speaking, we are not separate at all. Okay, we are one and the same. We are one single unit. Okay, how do I say this? Is with a simple analogy of a fish aquarium. If you see a fish aquarium or a small tank, fish tank, rectangular in shape or a round in shape, there are fish which is moving, inside that. Okay, and then you get to see the fish in a movement. Now, please tell me, if one fish does any kind of an action in its movement, will it affect the other fish or not?
It will.
It will definitely.
It will,
because they are in the same world, the medium of water. The ripples of that water, depending on the proximity with which this fish is to one another, it will make a difference. Okay, it will definitely affect. But as human beings, we have been living like memory loss. We think that we don't belong here, first of all. Secondly, we think that we are separate from one another. But put your vision into an earth that we all exist on that. And then there is something like the water for the fish is connecting us called the atmosphere. Okay. And that is also as controlled as the fish in the tank. Okay. In the water. So in a controlled environment, no matter what we do to ourselves or speak or think or feel, it affects another person. Okay. Once they know that, then they become very responsible. Okay. One. Number two, you asked me a question about love. Though we speak about love everywhere, we do not know how to love at all, let alone ourselves. Okay. We have got all sort of, opinion and judgment and analysis about ourselves, our personalities, our mistakes that we might have committed, not deliberately by by chance, that we hold against ourselves. We do not know how to love. Now, if we do not know how to love oneself, how would you ever love another? Okay, so the first training, whoever they come to, we definitely work with them to know and change their perspective, because our perspective gives rise to our reaction or an action. And if it is done over time, that becomes our fixed operative mode. Okay, so therefore we only bring in, love yourself, and there is a huge level of spirituality, because spirituality is not separate, not like a compartment. We are pure spirit, 99.9999% space that we are truly the spirit, and the one within knows it all. So our way of functioning is empowerment, not discouragement. Okay, we empower people.
Okay, so Dr. Mahajan, can we see a few cases of people who benefited from this treatment?
The cases?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I can do
I'll
that.
just start the. I think it's already. You can share.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just run through until I see the slides, please. Okay, give me a moment. And do you get to see the share? Do you get to see the screen?
I hope everybody else is.
Yeah, I'll just run it through. As I said, it is. I'll just put it on slideshow. Yeah. So as I just mentioned, we are atoms consist of 99.9999% space. Okay, it's empty is what we understand, but it's not empty. It is full of frequencies and informations. Okay. Now I'm going to run through a little bit. Okay. Now think of it. Think of it if our doctors of all kinds, okay, understand and get to see the 99.999% of your body, they can choose which modality use on you. There may be a different approach to the entire, health sector. Okay, if they can come to know this. So this is what we propose, and then I will just take you to my slides on the. Okay, you asked about SC5. I'll take straight away to the case because this cases need some understanding. Okay, is that okay? Can you see? This is one of my favorite case, so I call him hero, and I like to showcase this case because this is a case of a 5-year-old boy who was born and brought up in North India, but they shifted to Bangalore because Bangalore has got a certain facility of the special children. He had a high temperature when he was 7 months old. From then on, he never had a growth of his body. There was a completely, tilted spine and, dented skull. He didn't have the sacrum, bones growing. He didn't have a recognition of mother or father or the environment. Only two emotions, to laugh or to cry. Mother didn't know what to do. And then he was recommended by his physiotherapist to check on with me for a DNA reprogramming. So they came to me when he was 5-year-old. Okay. Now think of the parents' plight of 5-year-old, and then the second baby also arrived, was 7 months old. With this, both the children and parents came to me. First thing I do is, when such kind of a cases come, I will do an aura reading for them. Okay. I do an aura reading to decipher, to understand, to pinpoint, is this baby ready to develop himself like a normal baby? Okay. Is it by birth, by contract, on planet Earth that he has come in this form to bring in a certain kind of an energy around him? Or has this condition happened when he was born, after he was born? Okay. In the environment. So when we do that, then I will decide whether to do this case or not to do. So I felt this case can be taken. I did a DNA reprogramming for him, which is called, in simple words, a recalibration. And when we did that, and I had given him a prognosis in 6 months, this is his parameters, you can see. But I got it in 6 days itself that the parents called me to say he had a grip. The grip itself is a big movement in that kind of a child, because when he's able to grip his sister and push means that his brain began to coordinate, okay, to understand that somebody is troubling, and he gripped and he pushed to defend himself. Then I worked with them for almost 1 year. And then after 1 year, I could see the baby growing up, standing, and also he plays music. He's yet to speak, but he communicates. He grew up in a physical baby, growing up in this level, okay. This level means that there is this matter can be, enabled through energy medicine. It is also in West, they practice a lot. The technology came from Russia. In fact, there is a father of wave genetics to work with the DNA and the programming. And that I got to learn in 1993 by fluke. But then I went and acquired the knowledge of how to do it in a more scientific method, okay. We don't use any instrument. And this is one of the case that we have done, which is my pride of what is possible, okay. And then second case is also cerebral palsy. This is in 2018. I got this case. This baby was much better than the earlier baby. This baby had the recognition of mother, father, and everything, but he couldn't speak. He also had a grip, but he could not sit, okay. Yes, he did not have the spine which could be straight and support his entire body. Forget about him walking also. So when I examined him, if you could see in the picture, the second slide, it is a, kind of, the spine is tilted, and I couldn't show the picture of the thing, head and the sacrum also. Like if you see that tilt, it is very, very typical of the cerebral palsy patients, okay. And then afterwards, we have done the DNA. If you could see the third slide, okay, the spine is straightened up. Can you get that to see that? Okay. Now, no instrumentation needed for this because we have other techniques that we use to tweak with this 99.999% of our body through the DNA. And when we do that, the matter changes to accommodate. Okay. Only place here is that we have to find out whether this person needs that kind of an intervention. That is very, very, very intuitive, understanding of it. Okay. And I'll also show you the third case. This is a case of a young girl of 25-year-old, and she has, if you see in the first slide, a complete, collapse of the spine, due to which, if you can also notice the tilt in her body, left to right, like that. She has to kind of limp and walk almost 45 degrees. She has to limp, and she had a pain in the legs. She only came for that. When she came for that, then we began to look at her, taken a test, and then I did a DNA reprogramming. And then she came back after 1 month. And if you see the second slide, you will see there is a little bit of straightening of her spine. And if you see the third slide, this is third month. And you could see completely that, the tilted hip also, you could see it. And the tilted, the first one, and then you could see a complete, straightening. And she also gained height because of the spine falling in its place, okay? Now, when I asked her the story, how did this happen? This lady was not born with this. When she was very, very young, in one of the family function, in a chaotic situation, in the whole fight, what happens in a family function, sometimes fight picks up. Then somebody, this baby was handy and picked up and, dropped her, like threw her against the wall. There she had this. Okay, and she was very poor. She couldn't have gone for any other treatment. Okay, so this is one of the case. And this is a Parkinson disease. This is another favorite of mine. I'm showing you only those which is like little hatka, impossible cases. And this lady is used to run a restaurant, Indian restaurant in Australia, Sydney. And something happened in her family. She started deteriorating. She was picked up for a case of Parkinson. And then next 2 years, she was wheelchaired, because of which, if you could see her toes and all that tilted, they put a belt for her for the wheelchair. And she is sitting here, and only her hand movements happened. And she could only speak 4 words. And, yes, no, ledu, odu, only 4 words in Telugu. But she was otherwise a multilingual. And her husband, who was told about our center, then he came to us. We began to work and she was so committed. She was there. We moved nearer to the center. For 6 weeks, we treated her. And in the second week, she started walking. With the help of one person, she started walking. And then she's standing in the third slide because we celebrate my birthday at that time. So she stands and she cuts a cake with me. This is her assistant.
So
and then she speaks 6 languages fluently. Okay. And she could walk now with the help of somebody because she will hold not like one grip. She'll hold both the hands and then she'll walk. This is another.
Okay. Case. So do people, suffering with weight issues, they also come and they get the remedy?
Which case? Which kind of?
Like if, there are people who have weight issues like obesity is a major problem. Obesity and chronic ailments like diabetes, which is said to be incurable. Even today, there is no cure for it. We can simply manage it. So can these complications be also healed through energy medicine? And what is the kind of energy block in such cases?
Yeah, Shivi, let me take one case. This is all very hugely complex cases, okay, what I'm showing you. But coming to, you asked me 2 questions. That is, one is diabetic, which is very, very common. And another is the obesity, okay. And diabetic is a result of stress. Okay, huge stress. Now, in a simplest common language, I can put it. If somebody is getting a fever, traditionally we do not intervene immediately with a fever. We'll allow it to stay for a day or two. If it doesn't go, then we kind of start taking paracetamol or whatever other remedies. Normally, the fever is a defense mechanism to protect our physicality, okay, the body. That's how it is considered in our traditional methods, okay? Where similarly, if there is a stress levels are going beyond a certain scale, the immune that our pancreas start releasing a lot of insulin, okay? And what we do is at that time, whatever the symptoms that we have, when we go and check up, then we would definitely be, detected of diabetic reading. And then when we take those medication for almost a month, that is the dosage. When you get that medication almost a month, our body, especially pancreas, begin to accustom to that kind of a medication. If you do not take it, it'll ask you, okay? Most of us, the mistake we make in diabetic is, once we have seen maybe 16 years before, 5 years before, 10 years before, 1 year before, our body is a changing structure, okay? So we got to be reading diabetic, or, we have to recognize, are you really diabetic? Do you need medication? Because once you get accustomed to that medication, you can never reverse back according to the science, okay, the existing one. But we have seen diabetic can be reversed, okay? Like we can train the pancreas, not only the pancreas, the entire body to accommodate. So we come from the lifestyle, the emotional stresses, the mental blocks, as well the physical in all levels. We have seen in 3 months to 6 months, we are able to reverse with natural methodology. And then we'll also continue to take our reports frequently on everyday basis and once in a week lab reports, and then to ascertain to ourselves whether we are truly diabetic or not. And then the doctors we have seen, fundamentally our clients go back to the doctor because we do not reduce any medication given by the other faculties, okay? So they themselves will either reduce or they'll say continue to do this, okay? They wouldn't increase the tablets, okay? But depends on the person to person. There are people who will say, I will not take at all and I will manage myself. Now I know how to. But there are people who are scared and they will start taking it. So it is possible. Coming to obesity. Obesity is emotional block. Complete emotional block. Rejection of self from self. Okay. And the more and more it reinforces, the more and more you get into that, being fat, and more you reject. It's like a catch-20 situation, the more and more you're going fatter, the more and more you think you look ugly, and the more and more you beat yourself up, and the more and more you eat, and some people don't even eat, but yet they are fat, okay? Now think from my perspective, I just given you a few minutes ago. If you are changing structure of this energy in your body, and it is not as solid as you assume to be, it is only 0.0001%. And then when we intervene with our energy and bring that energy flow and remove those stagnation, then you bring back your complete alteration of your physicality in a way that you could accommodate to a natural, weight loss. Okay, so these two are very chronic.
Great, great. That was a really very highly enlightening session with you, Dr. Rita. So we are very fortunate to have you with us, and I'm sure that all the viewers today listening to you must have gotten great insight into their own life and the great window of opportunity that is open right before them if they want to heal their problems at the root level and come to you for for accessing the quantum healing energy modality. So
Can I say 1 minute something? Okay, good.
Yes.
See, whatever I've just said is a tip of an iceberg. Okay. I would only invite the viewers who how many ever are here, please come back to the class, because only again 2.5 hours or so you'll get to understand, maybe an experience a little bit online, whatever possible for you. I can maybe take out somebody of you as an aura reading, and I can do, and I can take out your resonance, what frequency is needed.
Yes, yes.
So I would only invite you, please come, meet me on 4th. I'll be talking in the afternoon, but 4 of us are together. We are giving you this lovely experience so that you have hands-on tools to break through in this time of uncertainty. And this is the biggest, I think, the most profound experience that Life Positive is putting together. Please don't miss it, because I may not be talking this way there. So please
Yes,
come.
this my humble request to each and everybody listening to Dr. Rita Mahajan. This is just a teaser to the main show, which is still waiting in the wings for all of you on the 4th and 5th of September. So this is just a small glimpse of the entire bank of knowledge that Dr. Rita Mahajan has with her. She herself is an institution in herself, going by the huge body of work in this particular field. And I would request you to please visit her website, see what all she has on offer, and please register for the workshop on the 4th and 5th, so that you really go back with your hands full, and a complete new world is being opened up for you by Life Positive through Dr. Rita Mahajan. My humble request to everybody to please register, and register in large numbers, because health is something which cannot compromise upon. We have been battling with disease and tablets and medicines and operations and what not in today's world. And the more gadgets and devices come, the more the process of healing is becoming, the more diseases coming, latest being corona, which is the news, another disease added to the long list of diseases we are already grappling with. And if we have something so simple as quantum energy medicine, which is so non-invasive, which is does not force you to pop pills, which does not kind of force you to undergo an operation, which most of us are afraid of it, and it can even get botched up. We all know what happens, what are the risks involved. There are no side effects to this treatment. It's all in play of energy. And not only do you go back physically healed, you also go back, even you can see the several upgrades which will happen in your own consciousness after having undergone treatment from her, because you will be a completely new human being after you come out from her center, and especially after you've listened to her and you've learned what all she does with people. So that it's an unmissable opportunity. My request to everybody, please do register for the workshop. You won't know the gifts which are waiting for you. It'll help you, it'll help your friends, your family, your neighbors. And eventually when healing happens, so it's not only at one level, as Dr. Rita Mahajan said. We are all interconnected, and whenever we get healed emotionally, so it creates a ripple effect where you see there's a lot of disturbance happening all around us. We know what's happening in the neighboring country, and we, as seekers and spiritual people, we deeply understand that it's all because of some say some disharmony in the way we are thinking, we are perceiving life, which is kind of spilling over everywhere. So even if we start healing from where we are, we don't know what kind of a long-term effect we are going to have on the larger consciousness. So you don't heal yourself, you heal your entire family along with you. Because when you heal your body at this level, you even heal your emotions, which what can be more beautiful than this, that you not only healthy, but you're emotionally and mentally peaceful and happy. And this is the greatest gift that Dr. Mahajan has for you. Please, my request is to please register and not let go of this golden opportunity. You don't even have to do that kind of work, which involves so many things in other healing modalities. You simply have to offer yourself to her, and there's a whole, what to say, gamut of things she has to help you on this journey. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you so much,
Mahajan.
Shivi. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you so much. Welcome, and I look forward to looking at you, seeing you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Any questions from anybody? Dr. Ravinder Sajdev, you want to ask anything? Okay. Thank you so much. I think the register, the link to the registration has been given, and it will also be given in the.
Can I ask a question? I was trying to unmute myself. Dr. Rita, is this aura finding and all that will be during personal meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, normally that is how it is considered with the onslaught of the technology around. We can do it even in a distance. Okay, in my workshop happening in September on the 4th, I would definitely demonstrate that whatever traditionally we thought limited us with the quantum understanding and the technologies as well, the IT industry's upswing, nothing is impossible right now. Okay, so we can get your aura done, and if you are somebody who's registering and being there with me, maybe you'll be the one. You prompt me, and we will take you as an aura subject, and then we could.
I wanted for my daughter. She is in US, so she was in my mind while I was talking. Anyway, we also will meet on 4th. Definitely.
Yeah, please. And there's a lot more to come, because this was just one glimpse of what's possible. Because we all are here to creating the planet Earth, which is disease-free, because that means disease-free human beings. And so that is a very, very ambitious project that we are in. So you and me together can make things happen. Okay. So, and please.
Also, I request the viewers today to please spread the word about this workshop happening on the 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
Please tell it to as many people as possible, because it's not only about us, it's about people and their happiness and health. And we all want to do this kind of work where we can bring a smile to somebody's face. So please do. They're not as much as you can. Spread it. Talk about it with your neighbors, your friends, your extended family members.
I think they can share it. They can share it in their social media.
And talk about. Please do talk about this show. It is there on YouTube. Please ask people who have not been able to join us today to please listen to it to get deeper insights into this particular form of healing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
God bless.
Bye.